on satellite, on Freeview, on cable, on radio, on mobile, on the web and around the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7.
Making news first at 9. Rains galore. Heavy deluge leads to inundation in Colombo and Galle. Looking ahead, Muslim community meets former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and assures their assistance. Broaden the net. Elections Commission Chairman believes more state employees should have limitations in contesting elections. Clarification. Minister Sarath Fonseca reiterates he is against sending war heroes before foreign courts. Making headlines from the international arena. Slammed from all sides.
His abusive use of missiles and his nuclear threats show that he is begging for war.
Bring you news from home and across the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7. Good evening, I'm Katharina Chang. Now, as thousands of devotees engage in religious observances on this Binara full moon Poya day, inclement weather battered several parts of the island. There were instances of floods as well as landslides hampering the day-to-day lives of the people. For a comprehensive report on the current weather situation, let us now cross over to Shanila Fernando at the Other Derana Weather Centre. Over to you, Shanila.
Thank you, Katrina. Now, a low pressure zone is formed between the southern and southwestern coastal areas of the country with a thick layer of clouds. This is causing heavy rainfall mainly in the western, southern and central provinces. This situation led to the coastal areas of the country also experiencing heavy falls within the past 24 hours. Authorities issued several warnings related to the somewhat extreme weather situation currently experienced in the island. The Road Development Authority also issued a statement cautioning all motorists on expressways to drive with headlights turned on within the speed limit of 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. Let's now take a look at how heavy rainfalls affected different parts of the country over the past 24 hours.
According to the latest updates from the Department of Meteorology, the district of Galle is severely affected by the heavy downpour. Main roads running through the city as well as entry routes to Baddegama and Karapitiya were submerged for the best part of the day. Many houses were also submerged in several areas. Meanwhile, strong winds along with heavy showers caused damage to 175 houses in Kaduruwela, Kusumgama and Gallala in the Polonnaruwa district last evening. 10 houses were completely damaged. Disruptions to the electricity supply were also reported as power cables were damaged in the area. Meanwhile, a special meeting was held today, chaired by the Additional District Secretary of Polonnaruwa. During the meeting, it was decided to provide immediate relief to the affected people in the area. As a result of heavy showers in the Kalaturu district, the two main entrance routes to the Alutgama Kandavihara temple were submerged today. It is believed that this is the first time in history that all routes to the temple were submerged. Other than a reporter in the area said, central drainage system in the city is clogged at several locations and as a result, houses in the vicinity are also submerged. Daily lives in the Colombo district were also affected as several main roads were inundated during heavy rains. Other Derana saw how strong winds brought damage to several buildings in the city. Meanwhile, Assistant Director of Disaster Management Centre, Pradeep Kodipilli, spoke to First at 9 on possible landslides in 3 districts.
NBRO, National Building and Research Organisation, they have issued a warning over the possibility of landslides in Kaluthara, especially in Malalawit and Agalawatta, and Galle district in Nagode and surrounding areas, and Nurali district in Ambagamu Korale area. So that the people who are living surrounding that areas, people need to be very vigilant. If any signs of the landslide been observed, they need to move for a safer locations. As for the Education Department, still the rivers are normal, and 117 call center number is completely open, and 267,002 and 2136136 numbers also been open for all communication matters.
We will bring you a more comprehensive weather forecast later in the bulletin, so stay tuned. Back to you, Katrina.
Thank you, Shanila. Moving on to other local news now, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa affirms that government policy should not involve selling off the country's resources. The former president made the remark responding to questions raised by journalists following an event at his residence in Tangol.
The Muslim community of Akkarepattu and Samanture called on former President Mahinda Rajapaksa at his Carlton residence in Tangol.
We don't know what happened to your presidency. Is anyone planned? Because of the, that the minority Muslims and Tamils turned against. We believe that it was planned from somewhere. But nowadays it's the people in a ruling party having all the connections against Muslims. So now we can understand what was happened. It won't happen anymore. And we would like to work you together to bring you on this seat again.
This conspiracy did not originate here, but from overseas. As a result, various rumours were spread. We now know who is behind the rumours about the Berwal incident. They have been caught red-handed.
Subsequently, the former president responded to questions raised by media.
Of course, the radical change has already happened. They have played the same trick many times over. It will be the same this time around as well. It will be confined to mere words. Formulate any economic policy you want, but don't formulate policies to sell national resources. This can't be fixed in 100 days, nor by 2025. They won't stay that long. They will have to leave by 2020.
Chairman of the Election Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, shed light on the much-debated move to restrict field officers from contesting elections in their own service areas. Now, speaking during the programme 360 on Adadarana 24/7, the Chairman of the Elections Commission said the move aims at reducing the risk of field officers influencing the voter base in their service areas.
Even my predecessors held the view that any state officials, if contesting elections, must cease their tenure in that particular electorate. No state officials can unduly influence voters. If they can influence voters through their job, they have an unlawful advantage and the election will no longer be free and fair. Right to engage in politics is one thing. But when contesting from one's own electorate, if one retains the power to decide the distribution of welfare and allowances, one holds an unfair advantage. Personally, what we stand for is that all state officials who run for elections must be transferred not only from their electorates but also from their local government authority. It was the Parliament that limited the restrictions to field officers. There is an issue with the transfer required prior to a year before contesting when this system is implemented for the first time. Parliamentarians, election monitoring groups and field officers' organisations made representations to us in that regard. As the Commission, we will consider those representations. If Parliament could loosen the law the first time it is implemented, the deadline for the transfers could be made 2 months or a week before nominations.
Parliamentarian Prasanna Ranatunge says that the conduct of SLFP members are in line with the principles of the UNP, despite the declaration of SLFP's principles on the 66th anniversary of the party. He made the remark at a media briefing held in Colombo today.
No one invited me for the 66th anniversary, but we had said beforehand that even if we do receive invitations, the joint opposition would not go to the event as long as the UNP is with the SLFP. We also requested to be given an opportunity to present a proposal that says the SLFP needs to remove itself from the government. Because although we talk about SLFP's principles on the 66th anniversary stage, they act according to UNP's principles. That is why I see this as an anniversary celebrated by those who back the symbol of the swan rather than SLFP members.
MP Vasudevanana Akare emphasizes that the involvement of the United States of America in the Indian Ocean Conference turns Sri Lanka into a risk zone. MP Nana Akare voiced these concerns while attending a public gathering held in Galle last evening.
There was an Indian Ocean Conference in the past couple of days. It was held by dependent territories of the Indian Ocean to discuss security measures for maritime transportation across the Indian Ocean. The United States Acting Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs, Alice Wells, attended the conference as a guest. She said the Indian Ocean should indeed be secure for maritime transportation and the US are ready to work closely with Sri Lanka. She added that the Sri Lanka Navy and the United States Navy should work towards ensuring this security. Now you can see how the imperialists are slowly attempting to crawl back to the Indian Ocean. Even our government is ready to sanction this. Otherwise, why should they call those officials for an issue in the Indian Ocean? In fact, one foreign minister stated that the task of solving issues related to the Indian Ocean mainly belongs to the dependent territories of the Indian Ocean and to the welfare among those nations. It is completely true. However, there are ones who invite imperialists to this region. They establish welfare schemes and they get sponsorships from the imperialists. Nevertheless, what is going to happen? This will become a risk zone.
Minister of Regional Development Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca today responded to allegations levelled against him on his statement regarding former Army Commander General Jagat Jayasuriya. Speaking to media following an event in Kelaniya, the minister maintained that wrongdoers must be dealt with, but only under Sri Lankan law. Several parliamentarians expressed their views, with contradictory views also forthcoming.
I have clearly refuted allegations that I am going to testify against General Jagat Jayasuriya in a Brazilian court. I have always maintained that our military personnel should never be tried by foreign judges in foreign courts. I, however, stress that if they have done wrong, they must be dealt with under Sri Lankan law. Sri Lankan law must be upheld for everyone. Some corrupt people think that if I don't follow their corrupt politics, I should lose everything. There is no pressure. They know my stance very well and that I am not someone who plays hide and seek. Against whom is he trying to provide evidence on war crimes allegations? It's on the country's army. So this isn't just evidence against Jagat Jayasuriya but also against the entire army. It is very sad to see war heroes being insulted despite their contribution to safeguard the right to life of the next generation. We demand Sarath Fonseca not to betray the country. The joint opposition is meeting at the parliament tomorrow. And we are expecting to make a decision on whether to bring a no-confidence motion against Sarath Fonseca or not. Such people are unsuitable for parliament, but for the position of a hangman. I don't see Sarath Fonseca as a traitor. He too is a patriot. He fought for the country and fulfilled his duties. General Jagat Jayasuriya is also the same. He too fulfilled his duties in the battle. War heroes too sacrificed a lot for the country. The President and the government will unconditionally stand for the security of war heroes. We will not let the international community punish war heroes.
Welcome back to the news. The police say that gunmen opened fire on the house in which an eyewitness of the Valikada prison shooting, Sudesh Nandimal, was residing in. Nandinal is due to appear before the Court of Appeal to provide evidence on the 12th of this month. The gunmen opened fire at the gate of a residence in Lunava, Moratuwa last night, which is believed to be of relatives. The incident occurred at 11 p.m. last night, where unknown gunmen opened fire on the gate of the house of a relative. No injuries were sustained during the shooting, and the Moratuwa police is conducting investigations into the incident. Meanwhile, convening a media briefing today, the Committee for Protecting Rights of Prisoners called on the Minister of Justice to mete out justice as soon as possible.
My life is under threat because those murderers are roaming free. I was threatened at the same residence in Moratuwa back in 2016. Thereafter, I received a phone call a few months ago from an unknown number levelling threats, demanding not to provide evidence. I was told they would kill me if I did. At about 11 last night, we heard sounds like firecrackers outside the house in Moratuwa. When we came to see what had happened, we saw holes in the gate. One of the main issues that was highlighted in the present government's political campaign was that of the Valikada prison incident. Because of this, the government of good governance faced a lot of pressure to appoint a commission to look into this case. This case was handed over to the former Minister of Justice Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. He failed to take up the issue for the past 2 years. We wonder whether this is a threat against Nandimal Silva. He did not ask for a fair case. This should be looked into by the government. It is the government who should be at the forefront, revealing truth behind these murders. Nandimal Silva was forced to take matters into his own hands and ask for justice because the process was delayed by the government.
Motor accidents within the last 24 hours across the country left 27 persons injured, including 2 children. In a day of accidents, the vehicle of the Chief Minister of the Sabaragama province also had a collision.
An accident occurred when the jeep belonging to the Sabaragama province Chief Minister Mahipala Herath collided head-on with another vehicle travelling in the opposite direction at 12:45 am today. The incident occurred along a bend in Pitakaldiniya along the Kegol-Avisavella main road. The Chief Minister's driver, who was critically injured in the incident, is currently receiving treatment at Kegol General Hospital. However, the Chief Minister, who was travelling in the vehicle at the time, was unharmed. Later, the driver of the other vehicle was taken into custody by the Pindeniya police. Meanwhile, an army truck carrying a group of soldiers from the Gamnuheva regiment in Kuruvita collided head-on with a bus near First Lane, Kandalanda in Homagama, along High Level Road at 7 this morning. The 17 army personnel who sustained injuries were admitted to the Homagama hospital. Initial investigations revealed that the cause of the accident was owing to a technical issue with the brakes of the truck. The bus involved in the accident was transporting a group of garment workers who were unharmed in the incident. Meanwhile, 4 personnel from the police special task force were injured when an STF ambulance carrying 2 patients toppled in the Pinnaduwa area along the Southern Expressway. 5 persons sustained injuries this afternoon when the van they were travelling in collided with an electrical post in Hungama in the Lunama area. Among the injured were 2 children, a female and 2 males who are currently receiving treatment at the Ambalanteta hospital.
The Minister of Megapolis and Western Development announced today that the recently initiated priority bus lanes will be open for all vans and buses transporting school children from tomorrow. Now, the ministry said the decision was taken in a bid to address the possible traffic congestion arising with the commencement of the new school term. Now, let's take a look at some other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
Minister of Law and Order and Southern Development Sagala Ratnayaka states that a low interest is charged for development loans obtained from other countries as they have faith in the government. The minister made this remark at the groundbreaking ceremony for the bridge in Tannahina in Matara, which is being built at a cost of 55 million rupees. The anti-Saitam hunger strike initiated by the People's Movement Against Saitam and the Inter-University Students' Federation continued for the 16th day. The strike worked off in front of the Colombo Fort railway station, and its participants say solutions for their issues haven't been forthcoming. The maximum retail price for sprats imported from Dubai and Thailand is removed. The Consumer Affairs Authority said the removal of the maximum retail price follows the increase in market price for sprats in Dubai and Thailand. A kilo of sprats imported from Thailand had a maximum retail price of 490 rupees, while a kilo of sprats from Dubai was priced at 405 rupees. The Consumer Affairs Authority said the removal of the maximum retail price is effective from the 30th of August.
North Korea was slammed by all sides in yesterday's United Nations Security Council, with US envoy Nikki Haley stating that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is begging for war. While Haley assured that the US did not seek war, she warned that its patience is not unlimited.
The time has come to exhaust all of our diplomatic means before it's too late. Kim Jong-un's action cannot be seen as defensive. His abusive use of missiles and his nuclear threats show that he is begging for war.
US Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, also rejected a compromise proposed by Russia and China, where North Korea would cease its weapons program in exchange for the US and South Korea ceasing large-scale military drills.
The idea that some have suggested a so-called freeze for freeze is insulting. When a rogue regime has a nuclear weapon and an ICBM pointed at you, you do not take steps to lower your guard.
China, however, continued to stand its ground, calling for restraint.
中方绝不允许半岛生乱生战。
Chinese President Xi Jinping urged countries to oppose protectionism and work closely to build an open world economy. He was speaking today at the 2017 BRICS summit, which is currently underway in Xiamen, China.
The BRICS summit, convening Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, is joined by observer countries Thailand, Mexico, Egypt, Guinea and Tajikistan. China has used this year's summit to stress the need to promote trade liberalization.
Multilateral trade negotiations are making progress only with great difficulty. Some countries have become more inward-looking and their desire to participate in global development cooperation has decreased. Practicing beggar thy neighbor will not benefit the growth of the world economy, as emerging countries and developing countries will be the biggest victims. We should root for an open world economy, insist on a multilateral trade system and oppose protectionism.
And let's now cross over to a short commercial break. Starting off with tennis news on sports, Juan Martín del Potro produced a stunning comeback against Austrian Dominic Thiem yesterday to reach the US Open quarterfinals in New York, where he will meet Swiss Roger Federer, who beat Germany's Philipp Kohlschreiber in straight sets.
Del Potro had to call for medical assistance twice during the opening set and went down by 2 sets. He rallied back to win the third before winning the fourth set tie-break. The deciding set also went to Del Potro, with the 6th seed Thiem double faulting on match point, handing the Argentine a 1-6, 2-6, 6-1, 7-6, 6-4 win. Unbeaten in their last 11 meetings, Roger Federer started calmly against Philipp Kohlschreiber and broke his opponent with a thundering forehand to wrap up the first set later in the evening. The 36-year-old Swiss took the decisive break at 6-5 in the third set before closing out the match 6-4, 6-2, 7-5.
Let's again cross over to Shanla Fernando at the other Derana Weather Center for a detailed picture on your weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
The heavy showers doesn't show any signs of abating over the course of the next 24 hours. Now, falls between 100 millimeters to 150 millimeters can be expected in the western, Uva, southern and Sabaragamuwa provinces. particularly in Galle, Matara, Ratnapura and Kalutara districts. The route of all this wet weather, the low pressure zone, is also likely to prevail over the next 24 hours and is expected to dissipate. In addition to the wet weather, the National Building Research Organisation warns of possible landslides in Ginigathena in Nuwara district and Yatalamatta in Galle district. That's it from Weather Centre, and let's now take a look at your city by city forecast.
And before we go, we'd like to take you to Talavakale in Nuwara, where Devon Falls cascades down the mountainside, framed by tea estates and towering eucalyptus trees. That is all for tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.